Hey, what's up, DIYers? Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. We're talking boats today, and in today's video, we are going to replace the fuel water separator filter. And this needs to be done every year. Don't let it go any longer than that because you'll allow water through your system and your engine will bog down. You'll have a whole bunch of issues. However, again, we're going to replace that filter. Let's get started. DIYers, we have made our way to the pontoon boat, and on the back of my parents' boat is a 40 horsepower Mariner outboard. And this is a 3-cylinder, as you see right there. Down below in the comments and description will be a link on how to replace your spark plugs. Definitely check that out. And real quick, there is a brand new installed fuel filter and part number as well. Video link down below on how to properly and safely replace that, as well as where to purchase a new replacement filter. In addition, we will be draining the oil tank here shortly and putting fresh new synthetic oil inside the tank. Coming over the engine, DIYers, there is our fuel water separator filter, and we've got a fuel hose coming inside the top housing there, and on either side that hose right there goes down into the gas tank inside. And after the fuel is pushed through that filter and any water droplets or moisture is filtered out of the fuel, it then comes up and comes out of that hose and makes its way to the engine, where it comes in and is pushed in by the fuel pump through the filter and into the carburetors. Camera now position looking directly at the Sierra fuel water separator filter, and the part number is 18-7845. And down below in the comments and description will be a few options as far as filter removal wrenches or tools. However, in our case, we're just using a large pipe wrench. DIYers, to an update, unfortunately that filter is really stuck and grabbing a strong hold of that upper housing or bracket or connection point. And to alleviate any damage to this side panel here, I am going to loosen up those nuts and pull this housing off of the threaded studs and basically have it out here. I'm going to carefully come in here and release the little fuel connection and pull it back. And as shown there, that is going to release it. Take a step back, and I just have two 13mm nuts that secure this entire filter housing or top bracket to the threaded studs. From here, I'll just remove them by hand. From here, I can carefully pull the filter off of the threaded studs, and again, I can basically pull it out of this enclosure to get a better grip to remove the filter from the housing. Coming inside the boat and to the opposite end of the fuel hose where it secures into the fuel tank fitting, and same fitting, little push button, just push it in and release it and pull it out. Back outside the boat, all I'm doing now is just carefully pulling the fuel hose out, as you see. And we've got this little netting just to keep critters out of the fuel tank compartment. Here it is removed, and DIYers, hopefully you do not have to go through this length of trouble. However, we are going to basically put that in a vise and get a better grip to remove that filter from its connection housing. We've made our way to the workbench and secured the filter and housing to the vise. And DIYers, if you go this route, just don't over tighten the vise. You don't want to damage anything. And I've got the filter upright, so when I loosen it up and remove it, fuel's not going to pour all over the floor. Basically, what I'm going to do is just kind of rock it back and forth until it breaks free. And looking at the age of this and the rust and how hard it was to get off, I bet this filter is full of nothing but water. There we go. To a closer view of the old filter removed and the little rubber seal. And again, hopefully yours is not as stuck as ours was. Coming to the bottom side, there's the threaded stud on the inner portion of the housing. Next, I grabbed the brand new fuel water separating filter, and down below in the comments and description will be a link on where to purchase this exact replacement filter as well as a few additional items. We've removed the brand new filter from the packaging. A quick comparison, old on the left and brand new on the right, and it is in some plastic wrap and seal. We need to carefully remove that. Do not damage the rubber seal. We made our way out to the grass, and DIYers, this is an extremely important step. Do not put the filter on empty. You want to fill it with gas, and in our case we use non-ethanol recreational fuel. And before we fill this filter with fuel, I want to emphasize why we are doing this. In the event that you do not fill this canister or filter with fuel prior to installing it and starting your engine, you've got a huge air gap in your fuel system. And what will that cause? That will cause your fuel pump connected inside your outboard engine area to work extremely hard. And that will put a lot of strain on it, because a filter this large, pushing that much air into the system, that fuel pump will go dry and you will overheat that pump and it could fail, and you do not want that. So again, ever so carefully fill this filter with fuel and go slow. Do not be sloppy with it. No need to rush this. From here, just soaking up all the fuel on the outer rim, and I want that seal as dry as I can get it. Back inside of the workbench and coming inside, and no need to overfill it, but again, you want it pretty full. We just tap it so you can see it moving there. See that? Directing our attention back to the fuel hoses and housing or connecting piece, we are going to reinstall that to the boat. Back to the boat, and we did just that, as you see, re-secured to the threaded studs, not over tightened, and the fuel hoses are re-secured to their respective fittings. One on the engine, one on the gas tank. What I did next was grab our synthetic oil container or jug and turn it upside down with the cap secured. I'm going to use this oil on the inner side of the cap to lubricate that seal, and just dabbing it with my finger. And use fresh new oil, DIYers. Do not use 30-year oil or 10-year or even 5-year or even 1 year. Just use brand new oil. Once that's fully lubricated, time to head back to the boat and carefully screw it into the threaded stud on the bottom portion of the mount or housing, and we are not going to over tighten it. Back to the boat, and DIYers, another step not to rush. Just bring in the filter and below the housing, align it properly, carefully and slowly with the threaded stud. Do not cross thread this, just go slow. And once you feel the tension, again, we are not going to over tighten it. We're going to turn it maybe 1/3 or 2/3. Just like that. We don't want it loose, because in the event that you leave it loose, you're not doing the fuel system any favors, or in other words, the fuel system will not be able to properly pressurize while the engine is running and supply the efficient amount of fuel required for your engine to run properly. In addition to the filter, here is a replaced on little placard area. You can date and timestamp it if you want. That will be personal preference. Taking a step back, in DIYers, at this point, just double check everything, and if all looks good, which in our case it does, you can go inside and make sure again that your opposite end fuel hose is re-secured to your tank, and you can pump the ball, and that will fill up the remaining portion of the filter itself as well as the fuel hoses. Making our way starboard side of the outboard, and DIYers, that's it. We hope this helps, and again, down below in the comments and description will be additional video links that take you to DIY repair videos, replacing the fuel filter there, draining the oil tank, and inserting brand new fresh synthetic oil, replacing spark plugs, and an additional video on removing the old decals from the top cowl from 1998 and installing fresh brand new decals. We hope this helps. And in addition, we are going to film a video on replacing the fuel lines and fuel hoses. Those are old, I can promise you that. Getting brand new fuel hoses will do wonders for our engine operation.